Hey, what's going on guys? Impulse here and welcome back to another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. So today's going to be the last time I use this team on the channel. It's a team that I used on the previous episode, so if you want to go and check that out and find out all the information about it, go ahead and watch that now. Link will be down in the description. But as for today's battle, my opponent is known as Marsh over on Poketubers Amino. So I'm just going to call him that for the remainder of the battle. So as you know, my team is right there. It's got all choice scarves, but my opponent's team consists of an Azelf, Scizor, Milotic, Sylveon, Talonflame and Exeggutor. So he said he was bringing something trolly, but I'm not sure which one it was at the time. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get into this battle, so I hope you enjoy it. So I'm challenged by Pokemon trainer Marsh. And after looking at his team preview, I expected the Azelf lead, probably like Stealth Rocks, Dual Screen, Suicide lead. Could even have Explosion, I'm not sure exactly because it didn't get that far. But I am predicting it to have either a Focus Sash or a Light Clay. So I expect it's got a Focus Sash and I go for the U-turn just to get some decent damage on it. And gonna go and switch out into my Darmanitan as I expect an incoming Stealth Rock. But he goes for a Reflect, so it kind of reconfirms what I already knew. And he gets up his screen. So I'm going to go for the U-turn once again, and that's going to take out Azelf even with the Reflect up. So that's one guy down, and it didn't really get to do too much. Obviously screens can be a little bit of a problem, but it's not going to do too much to PZ. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have brought PZ in at this point because it doesn't get its download boost. So that was a bit of a misplay on my part. And he brings in his Talonflame. So I'm just hoping I can survive this Brave Bird, but unfortunately he goes for his Z move. And he's going to go for the Supersonic Jesus Bird Strike. And yeah, we all know what's coming here. So Super Mega Chicken flies up into the air, annihilates PZ, and that is, yeah, one dead PZ. So out comes Darmanitan. I know he's still got his screen up, but I've got the Rock Slide 4 times effective, and I'm just hoping I can survive. Thankfully though, my opponent goes for a Tailwind to get his team up on the speed, because I assume that he kind of figured it out at this point that my team was Choice Scarf users. But Talonflame's going to go down anyway, and yeah, that's good for us. So his next guy is Exeggutor, which we're not super effective against, and I'm just hoping I can take this thing out in one shot. But I'm going to have to switch out. So I go out into Keldeo, and obviously I've got the Icy Wind. I didn't really want Darmanitan to take the damage, and I expected Keldeo to do a little bit better. So it takes it, and it lives on 15 HP. So I know that we're obviously going to die to another one. But he's going to switch out, and I'm just going to make a safe play and use the Icy Wind. I almost used the Sacred Sword, I can't remember which one it is now. The one that hits on the physical defense side of it, which is standard for Keldeo. I almost went for it, but I didn't quite commit. So he brings in this Milotic anyway, and I decide that this Keldeo's got 0 value, and I'm just going to stay in and get a little bit of chip damage on this thing, even though it's probably got Recover. And yeah, I'm just going to chip away at it. He goes for a Scald. It's going to take me out. Obviously, I only had 15 HP. So now I'm free to bring in my next Mon. He takes a little bit of damage from the burn, which is not really going to do too much in the long run of things. And the Tailwind fails to, it peters out. You know, it goes. Anyway, Heracross is here, and I go for the Mega Horn, and unfortunately it misses. Even though he's got his Reflect up, it still would have done a great deal of damage. Thankfully though, my opponent gives me a helping hand. I've got Guts, so the burn gives me a 50% attack boost instead of drop. So now we're both burnt, and I'm about to show him a good time. Reflect wears off, so we're at full damage, and we go for the Mega Horn. This does a lot of damage. Obviously if the last one would have hit, it would have KO'd, and we would have been in a bit of a better position. But now our HP is looking pretty low, doing 9 a time from the burn. So my opponent decides he wants to switch out and goes into resistance in Scizor, but even though it's resisted, I have got Guts, and I am a Heracross of the gods. So He's going to blitz his way across the screen and still deal almost half HP. My opponent was quite surprised at the amount that actually did, but you cannot underestimate a choice Scarf Heracross. So my opponent goes for his Mega Revolution, and yeah, he's going to go for the Bullet Punch, finishes off, and there's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. So Heracross is going to go down, and we're going to have to bring in our Darmanitan. Darmanitan's here, and I'm expecting his little switch into his water type, but that's not really going to do too much because of the amount of HP it's got left. So Milotic comes out, and we go for the Flare Blitz, which is a nice safe play, and Flare Blitz is obviously going to take Milotic out at this range. I'm going to take a little bit of recoil, but it's not too much, so it's nothing really to worry about. So in comes Executor again, and this is the thing I was kind of like, about. So I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz, get as much damage, hopefully I can one-hit KO it, and yeah, we can sweep and finish off the rest of the team. Unfortunately, Executor has different plans in mind, and the harvest kicks off and the fun begins for my opponent. Up until now I've been having a blast with the game, but yeah, it's not going to be so fun anymore as my opponent uses Trick Room. Trick Room's going to kind of devastate me, and he also kicks off his harvest and eats his berry again in the same turn, so it's looking pretty annoying. He's gonna go for a Draco Meteor now because he is actually faster, obviously because of the Trick Room, and that's gonna decimate my Darmanitan. So Darmanitan's gonna go down, but so is Executor's special attack. At the beginning of these battles, people knew, you know, a little clue that I had the Speed Demons, and I'm going to be quite upset that its Harvest pops up again, and he's going to get some berry action back on the go. So out of my remaining two guys, it looks like the one that can hit most is my Fat Exploud. So I predict the switch and I go for the Fire Blast, and that's going to take out the Scizor, and that's going to be good for me, leaving only his Executor. So I can't really switch out at this point. I'm just going to have to stay in, and I'm hoping that I can survive this Draco because I am kind of fat. It's got a lot of HP, and it comes down and I live on 13 HP. He gets his special attack drop again, and I'm going to go for a Fire Blast, and it's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage, but of course the berry's going to pop off once again, and we're not going to be able to take out this damn Executor. So Harvest kicks up because it just doesn't like me very much. And he's going to get almost all of his HP. At this point he's gained more HP than he's had actually his maximums at. So Flamethrower is going to kick off, and yeah, it's going to take out Exploud, leaving only my Staraptor. So I'm going to bring in Staraptor as the Twisted Dimensions return to normal. We've got the speed advantage back, so I'm just going to hope I can take out his last two guys with this. I go for the Brave Bird. It's going to be able to take out Executor because it's super effective. Unfortunately for me, I'm going to take some recoil damage, but that's not too bad, I guess, in light of things. So his last mon is a Sylveon known for its special defense. So I figured I've got this one in the bag. I know it can use Wish or Recover in some way, but I feel like I've got it. But unfortunately my opponent's troll Pokemon, it turns out to be this, and he's got the baby doll eyes to lower my attack. So now I'm fishing for crits because I know that I'm not going to be able to take it out in one hit. To be fair, looking at the HP, I was never taking it out in one hit, but it might have been a 2-hit KO. So he's going to get a little bit of lefties action going, and I'm going to use Brave Bird over and over again because I do not have a choice. Because of the choice item, no pun intended. And yeah, I'm going to take a lot more damage, but so is he. He's going to go for his Wish because he's going to get his HP back. He's going to want to stay alive, so I'm predicting that he's going to use a Protect, obvious play, but literally cannot do anything about it. So I'm going to go for another Brave Bird, which is no surprise by now. My opponent goes for his Protect, gets his HP back, and I'm just like, in the chat what we're on, I was just like, I need a crit so badly. But so I've got to fish for one. If I get a crit here and then a crit on my next, and then an attack, I should be able to, you know, finish this thing off. So I'm gonna go for nothing at this point because my opponent decides he wants to troll a bit more, goes for his baby doll eye, so now I definitely need the crit. So I go for the brave bird, and I'm like, come on, please crit, please crit, please crit. Comes in strong. Doesn't crit. So I've got one more shot at this. His HP's down. He's in KOable range if I get the crit. And it's pretty much the last attack of the game. If he goes Moonblast, it's over. And yeah. So I'm going to go for the attack. Get the brave bird off. Don't get the crit. And to rub salt in the wounds, my opponent uses Draining Kiss. So that's going to be game. It was a good game. So thanks for the battle, Marsh. I really enjoyed it. It was really, really close. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the battle or learned something useful, go ahead and smash that like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.